Hello friends of Fang. Today I'm going to show you how to put together your Fang controller tower Neo. So first things first, when you get your tower, unpack it in a place where you have plenty of room, lots of table space. The arms are very slippery and they like to slide around very easily. And if they land on one of these points, it could break. It has a weakness until it's assembled. Once it's assembled, it's going to be just fine. So, different parts. You've got your base, and this is the platter on top of the base that spins. You've got your cores. This is a stagger plate if you've got the version that each level is rotated 45 degrees. And then this is the termination plate. I've got some other accessories over here. I will show you at the end how to put those on there. The other thing that's really important is that there's a track here, a channel, and it's important to make sure the pieces are interlocked before you tighten these down. So, to explain how this works is I've got my finger on this dial here, which is how you tighten it at the end. And I've got the screw. I'm going to take the screw and I'm going to put that in the center of the platter. And I'm going to spin the platter counterclockwise. And it'll start rubbing on the top of the platter. The core will. And when it gets close, I can then key these two together. You do not want to over tighten it until you have that keyed together. Now I can turn the dial and snug it up. And you just, as soon as it gets snug, you stop. Just barely finger tight. And it's very important that you've got it locked into place. If you start cranking and it's not locked, you could break your tower. Okay, so the next thing is grab your next core, and same thing. I'm holding the dial on top, and I'm just going to spin the previous tier. And it's starting to rub. And now I'm going to get that click, and I'll just turn the dial down. And once it's snug, I stop. So now, if this is it, I would add my termination cap and start putting my arms on. Now here's the other part that's kind of tricky, is most of the time these arms are just going to slide right on, no problem. If you run into one that gives you some trouble, what you can do is you can turn it upside down and try and put it on that way. That'll kind of loosen things up a little bit. If you get one that's really, really a real bear, what I recommend is making sure you got it all the way in, and you can use something like a butter knife to tap it into place. And that's probably only in rare extreme cases. And the other thing is, if you're changing your tower around, sometimes if you've never taken these off before, they can be a little tight. So what you can do is turn it upside down, and you want to tap that close to the core as you can get, but just gently tap it out and make sure you catch it, because it'll fall out if it's upside down. So that's how you deal with a stubborn arm. But like I said, most of these guys just slide right in. And the other important thing to remember about your arms is they're reversible. So some controllers fit really well in the wide setting, and you can flip these around and make them a narrow setting. Now the Xbox likes the narrow setting, and the PlayStation controllers usually like the wide setting. So you can adjust accordingly. Now, if you have one of the stands with the stagger plate, for in between each level, you'll put one of these stagger plates, and you can see you'll want to make sure this top looks like this top. If it looks like the bottom here, then you're going to put it on the wrong way. So make sure, and once again, that'll key in there nicely too. You'll get that nice lock feel. And same thing here. You would just take this and spin it on, just like we did before. It'll start to rub, and when it gets close, you key it in. So we'll put some more of these arms on. Now, in this case, I'll add these amiibo holders, and they also hold Disney Infinity and the Skylanders. So your taller ones you probably want to put in the front. Most of the Disney Infinities are a little bit taller, so you might put your shorter ones back because you can run into some issues with height on your next tier if you have another tier above that. So this is one of the detachable trays. I've got a variety of those that work with different controllers to specialize your setup. And it's got these little things that go in place instead of the arms, and you can just slide those in like that. So that gives you easily remove. Set that on the coffee table. Everybody grabs a controller and plays some Switch, and then load it back up and slide it back on. So the other thing that I'll show you is this is the headphone crown. The Terminator plate's a little bit different. And you just push down the four corners. And so your headphone crown will get keyed in there, and it comes with a long threaded rod and an acorn nut, and you'll just add the two rests for the headphones, and it comes with a little wrench that you can tighten that guy down into place. And pop some headphones on there. Now, in 6 months, you found that you went to a retro gaming store and you picked up some extra controllers. You can undo your headphone crown. Pop off that termination plate, and usually I just get my fingernail in there, and once you get two corners it comes off real easily. Pop on another tier, and I'm going to be listing the tiers, extra tiers in two ways. You can get them with a set of arms, or you can get them with a some other options like the amiibo tiers. So once you got that on, you just add your termination plate back on, and you can add some more arms. And I'll put some on in the narrow setting. And like I said, don't move this around with your controllers on it, because the worst thing that's going to happen is it's easy to drop a controller even though you think it's fairly steady. And trust me, when it's on the tower, the controller's fine, but if you start moving it, it might not be as secure as you think it is. So there you go. That is how you put together your Fang Controller Tower Neo. Hope you enjoy.